What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we're doing a brand new video. This is actually an updated version of the tier list for Kizuna Exchange for October 2023. The last time I made one of these videos was quite a while ago. I was looking through the icons that I had saved in a separate folder, and the icon stopped at this Gold Roger character. So anything from Katakuri onwards was all new additions to this list. So it has been a while since we've made an updated version of the Kizuna Exchange list, and I want to make sure that, you know, we go through this and kind of rank which of these ones are worthwhile getting compared to others, because we know that the amount of Kizuna insignia that you receive is really not that much. So using it wisely is pretty important. So we're going to go through all these characters, give my thoughts and opinions about it. Now, this is referring to super evolution skulls that you can pick up. Some of these are for the free-to-play characters, so depending on how good the free-to-play character is, you may actually need to pick up the skull either way. But then you've got some Sugo Fest exclusives, and the Sugo Fest exclusives are a bit more cut and dry. Some of them are amazing, some of them, I'd say most of them, probably not worth super evolving immediately. So without further ado, let's get into it. So we've got the tier list here. We've got Blackbeard. This is V1 Blackbeard. I'm actually going to zoom out just one tab here. V1 Blackbeard, this guy is really good in Pirate Rumble, especially Grand Party, and I think for that reason alone, it probably puts him in A or B tier, but it is dependent on how good the Dex team is that you can currently build. Like, if you've got the optimal Dex team, you've got Super Tandem Luffy, you've got V2 Doflamingo, who's another character we'll talk about in a moment, you've got the really good Rumble Red recruits with like Pell, Dalton, all those characters, Cavendish, Moria, Sober Mask, and then you got like Big Mom, as we said, Eustace Kid, another character you can put on here. If you have all these characters but you're just missing Blackbeard, I think picking him up is actually kind of worthwhile. But outside of that, probably not. He's not really that good in normal content. So I'd say I'd leave him around the mid tier because he's very good in Rumble, but he's not good in normal content. We've got a lot of really bad Sugo Fest exclusives though. Like, Zoro is terrible, but he is very good against one of the particular Grand Voyages. Sanji is bad, Mihawk is bad. Onami, you can get away with not having her. Cracker, I'd say, is slightly better, but not much better. You've got Komurasaki with her recent level limit break, and it does actually add some interesting abilities, but I don't think you're really going to be using Komurasaki all that much. This is a free-to-play Kizuna character, but this character is really bad. You just never see it being used. Germa 66 with their Super Evolution make the Captain Swap last for 2 turns, so it's slightly better. They're not very great in Rumble, so I can't really recommend them too much. Sabo is pretty bad. Jack is actually pretty decent. He's a nice addition to those teams that are opting to use the Beast Pirates like Kaido, Alba, Queen, etc. If you need one of these characters for Super Tandem, Jack is very nice for that, providing affinity boost to Strength-driven Powerhouse, good utility as well. He gets rid of Paralysis and I think another debuff by 6 turns, which is really nice. I think it might be attack down, so he's really good for that, and I think, just generically speaking, he's just not a bad unit. Carrot, I think she's probably an A tier character. Her 6+ is actually really good, and if you got her a level limit break, it makes her even better. I'd say Carrot is a pretty worthwhile investment. Now Yamato, dude, Yamato's a really good investment too. I wouldn't say that she's like a top tier unit that you should be super evolving. I think she's probably a better investment than Carrot. Carrot does see a little bit of play, but I don't know, Yamato's really good in Rumble too, so you have to take that into consideration. She's good in normal content, she's good in Rumble, she synergizes well with some of the best units in the game. Can't really fault it. If you have Yamato, the int variation, and you want to super evolve her, you need to pick up these skulls, and I think that she's a worthwhile investment, so not a terrible one at all. Jack, really good in Rumble, not so much in normal content. I'd say he's relatively similar to this Blackbeard. In normal content, you just don't really see him used that much, but, you know, in Rumble, he's one of the better Rumble units in the game, so I'd say I'd probably put him up there. This Linlin is really good. She has good utility, and if you are, you know, a player in the game that doesn't spend that much money, you know, you're more of a free-to-play, more of a casual player, picking up Big Mom and getting her maxed out is probably pretty good because she has great utility. She gets rid of Special Bind, which is the big thing there. She's an orb booster for int-driven Powerhouse. You can build really good teams with her. Lots of, or not say lots, but there are a couple of super tandems that can utilize Big Mom and along the chain. So, you know, the more recent characters that have come out. So I do think that Big Mom is a worthwhile pickup. Charlotte Pudding, I'd say she's probably like a C tier character. Definitely better than the D tier, but she just doesn't see a hell of a lot of play. Don Krieg is terrible. Don't worry about him. Brook, I wouldn't advise picking his skulls up. V1 Odin, he is actually really good in Rumble, and with the Super Evolution, they do actually give him some pretty good updates. So I think he's probably like a B tier character. I'd say he'd probably be near the top of B tier, but I guess it is dependent on, you know, the teams that you have access to in Pyre Rumble. Like, if you want to build a slasher team, more often than not, Odin is going to be a character you use alongside like K-Dad potentially, Roger Whitebeard obviously, but you can actually use him on a strength team too, which is the cool thing. Like, he can be used in a lot of different teams. Jack can be used in a lot of different teams, whereas Blackbeard can only really be used in Dex teams, but he's like one of the quintessential units in Dex teams in Rumble, more particularly Grand Party. We've got the free-to-play Blackbeard. He's actually really good. I'd say he's probably around here. Like, he's really good in normal content. It's very similar to Big Mom. Like, if you are a casual player, low-level player, and you need good free-to-play characters to help you clear content, Blackbeard is going to be one of those units you could potentially invest in, but obviously not very good in Rumble or anything like that. I'd probably put him actually in A tier. He's probably similar level to this Big Mom, you know, just what he does. He's very unique. He's a very cool character. V2 Dofi, I'd say he's relatively similar to Blackbeard. You know, if you want to use him for Rumble, he's pretty good. In normal content, probably not going to use him that much. This Orochi is terrible. Kuzan, again, another good unit in Rumble. He's really good in normal content as well, but I'd say he's only really good in normal content once you have level limit break. If you don't have the level limit break, V2 Kuzan with the 6+ is just kind of an average unit. So I would say I'd put him in probably B tier for now. I would probably leave him probably about here. You could probably bump him up a bit more, but with level limit break, dude, Kuzan is a beast. I don't really know if I'd want to put him too much higher than that. But he's so good in Rumble, and he's good in shooter teams too. I'd leave him here for now. This Odin is like just okay. Akainu, I gotta say it, he's really not that good. Some people might like him, but personally, through experience, I've never really found him to be that amazing. Definitely much preferred Kuzan. This Roger is also okay if you need some good free-to-play units, but if you're comparing free-to-play Kizunas, I think it's a much better investment to pick up Big Mom or Blackbeard compared to Odin or Roger. These characters just don't do enough. They've got decent free-to-play captains, but with the way that you can just reroll, get better captains, and then utilize these units that are much better subs on your teams, definitely the best way to go. Katakuri, he's hit or miss. He's good in Rumble for fighter teams or powerhouse teams, and in normal content he's also relatively good, but again, he's only really good once you get level limit break. So I would say he's probably the top of C tier, because he's actually really good in normal content, but I can't really suggest him that high when you've got these other characters that I think are probably better investments. You got this free-to-play Kizuna Luffy. He's okay, but he just doesn't really see a lot of play. He's got some okay utility, which is the big thing. Shiki also has some pretty good utility, but again, only really good with level limit break, so I'd probably put him in C tier. He's definitely better than the D tier characters, but I really wouldn't want to put him much higher. Now, this free-to-play Uta, I believe this free-to-play Uta is boosted in just about every PKA moving forward. She's a really nice unit. I think that she's probably around the top of B tier. Like, if you're a casual low-level player, this is another one of those free-to-play units similar to this Lin and Blackbeard that you probably want to get because she just helps you out a lot. You know, double special launch, attack down removal, bind despair removal, defense down conditional boost. The only real unfortunate thing about Uta is that, like, there's not a lot of characters that she can, like, synergize with, like super tandem chains. She's not really needed for anything like that. So, you know, that's a bit of a hit or miss thing, but I think these two are definitely more valuable compared to what Uta is, but she's still pretty good. This Sabo is pretty bad. Unfortunately, I do think he's pretty bad. Free-to-play Shanks is decent, actually. I want to put him at, like, the top of B tier. You could make an argument for him to be the top of A, or at the bottom of A. I'd actually put him maybe like, is he more valuable than getting Odin maxed? Yeah, probably. I think the Shanks is pretty good. He's got good utility. I know that he gets rid of Threshold. That's like a big thing that he does. I think he gets rid of Resilience as well. And he's a chain boundary unit. He also has a super tandem chain for boosting Psy characters' attack. So free to play super tandem is always really, really cool. Now, I guess we'll pull up both Utas at this point. So for people who don't know how Uta works, the Super Sugo Fest exclusive Uta super evolves into this version of Uta. You need 5 super evolution skulls to do that. And then when you are in this form of Uta, you need 5 of this character's super evolution skulls to get her into this form. So it's a really frustrating way to do it, but I do think, because I do rate Uta to be one of the best legends in the game, I think both of these skulls are actually in the top tier, because, well, Uta is one of the best legends in the game, and the fact that each version of Uta literally does like a different thing, and I think that she is a very worthwhile investment to get. Obviously, best case scenario is you have 3 copies of Uta, so you can have the base form, the super evolved form, and then the quick super evolved form. It's very frustrating, and I think, yeah, definitely as a beginner low-level player, this is very frustrating, but, like, she's really good. You kind of have to get her done once you have her. Blackbeard, I think, is like a low-level character. He's okay. Ace. Ooh, Halloween Ace. I'd say well, look, okay. The free-to-play units, I think, are still a bit more valuable because 6-star version of Ace still does what the 6-star plus version does. It's just this character boosts int as well as fighter and shooter. So that's a pretty nice buff. His special is changed, obviously. But the main reason why Ace is used is mainly for treasure map, because he has the captain ability to resist special bind, special reverse. And just having that in a captain is so good. I do think that he is still pretty worthwhile. I would probably maybe put him at the bottom here because the 6-star version can still kind of fulfill the same role as what this character aims to do, and he's not good in Rumble. So I think that these characters being better in Rumble are better investments, comparative wise. We've got Dex Kid, same as Blackbeard and the Doflamingo. I think well, I would say that Kid is the best of these Dex super evolutions in normal content. Yeah, this Kid is really good. He's actually, you know what, now that I'm thinking about what he does, captain ability and special ability wise, and even with the buffed super type that can give a full board of super bomb, I actually think he might be probably one of the best ones to super evolve. He's really good, actually. You got this free-to-play Brook. I've actually used him a couple of different times. I think he's actually pretty good. I'd leave him at the bottom here. Like, these are the free-to-play units. I think Uta is probably the best one you should get. Shanks second, and then maybe this Brook third. You can make an argument for Brook being the second most valuable in this tier because he is a Straw Hat and he can work well with a lot of the other Straw Hat characters. He's free spirit, which obviously helps him out too. So yeah, I'd probably put Brook in this tier. You could potentially make an argument for him to be an A tier, but it's close. Chopper with his super evolution, that's an interesting one. I mean, it's definitely high up there. He definitely gets better, you know, he gets a much better utility special, but it's not like a huge change, but it is a slight buff. Captain ability, slight change as well. I think I'd have to put him like here, to be honest. Maybe even, no, I'd put him above that. I'd leave him in this tier. I don't think I'd put him in in A tier, sorry, because he just doesn't change as much. But having him completely maxed out is a big deal because he gets the slight buff for the Bind Despair removal, but the rest of the utility, like attack down and all that, is still only by 5 turns, which is a bit of a missed opportunity. Would have been nice if it was 6 instead. Gold D Roger. I think Gold Roger's actually a decent pickup. And the reason why I say that is because he actually gets buffed in Grand Party. His Grand Party skill gets buffed, his stats are buffed across the board, and he is just a generically better unit in Rumble. And I mean, if you've already got a good unit in Roger and you can buff him in any sense, it's probably worthwhile. He obviously can be used in a lot more teams compared to what Odin can, and his super type buff with his super evolution is actually really nice. Being able to lock slots now, big buff, and also being able to potentially be a color affinity booster too. So I think Roger's a pretty decent pickup, but I think, again, you know, if you are a low-level casual player, the free-to-play units might be a bit more valuable, to be honest. Sugar, I can't really suggest to pick that up. Doflamingo, I can't suggest that either. It just doesn't see a hell of a lot of play. This Luffy is a nice buff, but he just doesn't see that much play. Cat Dog. Cat Dog is very good. I think Cat Dog is probably an S tier pickup because of the sheer buffs that this character receives with super evolving is like nothing we've ever seen. This is the biggest shift from base form to super evolution in terms of straight buffs that I've seen, like from a super evolution. It is wild. This unit is good. I rate him very highly. As you guys may have seen in my tier lists, in the actual legend tier lists, I rate him very highly. So Cat Dog, I think, is a very worthwhile investment because he'll help you clear a lot more content. Being able to do attack, orb, affinity, and potentially a defense down conditional boost, whilst also being a speed farm captain, all wrapped up into one, it's pretty good. And he also removes like 6 turns of attack down as well, because why not? And I think he gives a full board of slots as well when you use his super switch. Like, this unit's amazing. This unit just does so much things. So he's awesome. You know, a slasher cerebral, striker powerhouse captain. He's good. Like, Cat Dog are very, very good. Shanks crew with their buff. This is similar to Ace, the way that I see it. Like, with Shanks crew, well, the good thing about Shanks crew is they do get a slight PvP buff, which help them out. So I probably would rank him a bit higher than Ace, but it's like the similar thing with Ace in the fact that the 6-star form still does what the 6-star plus version does in terms of the role on the crew. The most times you're using Shanks crew, you're using it for a couple different reasons. Special bind removal in the captain, and also the captain ability allowing you to essentially get around resilience. And then the special ability providing a really good chain lock, and then also having this switch ability. So the base form of Shanks still does all of those things, but they are just slightly increased with the 6+, obviously the super switch being a big increase to the character, the multipliers across the board being better. It helps out, but the utility role for this character on the crew is still the same, so it's not like a big shift. So I probably would bump him up a little bit, probably better than the Chopper. I think Kid is a better 6+ compared to Shanks crew in terms of the buff that the character receives, so I think that's a pretty fair placement for Shanks crew. This free-to-play Garp is okay, like a utility focused unit, so I think I'd put him in B tier. He's actually alright. Barto Cavendish, I'd probably put him in C tier. Like, they're okay. You don't really need to super evolve them. This Big Mom is pretty bad. I kind of want to put her in D tier. I think she's just a terrible unit. This Kaido is actually pretty decent. Actually, you know what? Well, the thing about it is I'm pretty sure the base form of this Kaido, his support still does the same thing. So actually picking up his super evolution is a very low priority. And then Luffy Ace. I think Luffy Ace is a pretty big pickup. They're really nice. If I remember correctly, I think they deal with special reverse now, don't they? Look at them up on the database here. I'm pretty sure they deal with special reverse right now. Yeah, 5 turns of special reverse, and they do it in their base form as well. Like, yeah, that's really good. Yeah, they definitely deserve to be an A tier. Like, they're a really good buff. They're pretty close to S tier, to be honest. Now looking at this, I kind of want to shift some things around. I don't think Carrot should be that high. I'm pretty comfortable with these 2 free-to-play units being there and these other free-to-play units being here, but the rest of it actually seems pretty fair. Like, these characters in C and D tier, they're like optional. Yeah, you can buff them, they'll become better units, but I don't think it's like the best choice when you have some of the characters at the top here that are definitely better investments that will help improve your account immensely compared to some of the buffs that you can get from some of these other units that don't really see hell of a lot of play. But that's going to wrap it up for me. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. Do you agree with my lists for the free-to-play Kizuna Super Evolutions investment with your Kizuna insignia? But that's going to wrap it up from me. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. I'm that, guys. I'll see you guys within the next video.